Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from around the world and the state of California and the city of Ridgecrest.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Thanks for joining us for the news. I'm Tom Wicknick, and here's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Our goal at KZGN is to mostly focus on news about Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley, and on news from outside the area that affects the Ridgecrest area here and the people here. We usually don't cover world news, but today's events that happened should be brought to the attention of everyone. This morning, terror struck around the world, beheading a man in France, gunning down dozens on a beach in Tunisia, and launching a suicide attack on a mosque in Kuwait. These appear to be a coordinated series of attacks that followed an ISIS leader's call to make the month of Ramadan a time of calamity for the infidels. There was no confirmation that the attacks were ordered by ISIS, although the suspects who attacked a U.S.-owned gas factory in southeastern France left the terrorist army's flags next to the severed head of their victim. If the attacks were indeed an answer to ISIS spokesman Abu Muhammad al-Anadan recent call for savagery, it would represent a hideous perversion of Islam's most holy period, which began June 17th and ends July 17th. Jihadists should make Ramadan a time of calamity for the infidels, Shiites, and apostolate Muslims. Muslim everywhere, we congratulate you over the arrival of the holy month. Be keen to conquer in this holy month and to become exposed to martyrdom. The attack in France occurred first at 9:50 a.m. local time in Saint-Quentin-Fault-Avier, northwest of the Alpine city of Grenoble. Two suspects dressed as deliverymen crashed a car into an industrial gas plant operated by an American-based Air Products and Chemicals company. The terrorists stormed inside and killed at least one person. The head of the victim, a local transportation company businessman, was left on a fence with Arabic phrases scrawled onto it and ISIS flags nearby. Nearly simultaneously, two gunmen attacked two hotels in a Tunisian coastal town popular with British and European tourists, killing at least 27 people. Although there was no immediate word on the victims, the fact that most were on the beach during the holy month indicated that those killed were almost certainly tourists. The third attack killed at least 16 in a Shia mosque in Kuwait City. ISIS is comprised of Sunni Muslims, and its members have a long and bloody history with Shia Muslims. The attack came immediately following Friday prayers. There was no claim of responsibility, but ISIS has claimed responsibility for bombings at two different Shiite mosques in Saudi Arabia in recent weeks. French officials wasted no time labeling Friday's attack an act of terrorism. The attack was of terrorist nature since a body was discovered, decapitated, with inscriptions. French President François Hollande told a news conference in Brussels where he cut short his attendance at an EU summit to return to France. In the France attack, at least one man, who authorities said was a 30-year-old extremist known to authorities, was under arrest following the attack. There were unconfirmed reports of others arrested or killed, but a manhunt is underway for any other suspects involved in the attack. The French Interior Minister, speaking from the scene, described the attack as barbarous and a terrible terrorist crime. He said the suspect had been known to foreign intelligence services since 2006, but that police monitoring of him had ceased in 2008. The man did not have a criminal record, the minister added. As of news time, no information of arrests in the attacks in Tunisia and Kuwait have been reported. In news from Washington, Congressman Kevin McCarthy released the following statement on the introduction of new California water legislation. H.R. 2898, the Western Water and American Food Security Act of 2015, achieves four main goals. It moves water through the Delta, creates a path for new storage, protects the state water project, and preserves water rights. McCarthy said the following: our communities continue to suffer under the worst drought in generations. The call from every corner of the Central Valley for Congress to provide any and all relief has been heard loud and clear. I have listened to the concerns and the stories of tragedy that have come at the hands of the drought, as well as the disgraceful water mismanagement from Sacramento and Washington. For years, I have offered and supported solution after solution that has passed the House, which unfortunately the President has opposed and were not enacted into law. This inaction is unacceptable, and I will not rest until a water bill is signed into law that rebalances the priorities between fish and people and delivers water that our communities have contracted and paid for. This bill accomplishes 4 goals that have guided my work on California water policy for years. It will move water through the Delta. It will create a path for new storage. It will protect the state water project and preserve water rights. Today is an important step to helping restore the water our communities desperately need by more fully utilizing the most sophisticated water system in the world to quench the thirst of robust economic opportunity for our families, farmers, workers, and businesses. Those were Congressman McCarthy's comments about the new water bill going through Congress. In news from Sacramento, after months of rancorous debate and emotional pleas from parents, a bill that would force most Californians to vaccinate their children cleared its last major legislative hurdle on Thursday. So now, the only question is, will California's famously unpredictable governor give the measure his blessing? Senate Bill 277, which mandates vaccinations for all school children, regardless of their parents' personal or religious beliefs, passed on a 46-30 vote in the State Assembly after an hour-long impassioned debate. That much was expected, as is Monday's pro forma Senate vote to approve the bill again and send it to the Governor, Jerry Brown, for his signature. Many pundits are reluctant to predict what Brown will do. Assemblywoman Shannon Grove released the following statement. Regarding her vote against SB 277, a bill that removes the personal exemption option for parents not wanting their children to be vaccinated before attending public or private schools, she said, "There is no doubt in my mind that vaccinations overall should rightly be considered one of the greatest medical achievements of modern civilization." She went on to say, So what is my problem with this bill? Parental rights are being violated. Parents, not the state, should ultimately decide what medical treatment is best for their children. Well, now we'll see what the governor does. In news from the California Supreme Court, they have issued the following ruling. The case the court considered involves several internet cafes in Kern County. The Associated Press reports the California Supreme Court says computerized sweepstakes found at internet cafes are illegal slot machines. In a unanimous ruling Thursday, the court rejected the business's argument that the sweepstakes are different from slot machines because they have predetermined outcomes. The court said the sweepstakes are still games of chance because customers have no way to influence the outcome, which is unpredictable to them. The case, the court considered, involves several internet cafes in Kern County that local prosecutors sought to stop them from offering sweepstakes games. The Kern County businesses have made no comment on the ruling. In city code enforcement news, it is reported about the Dale Howard abatement case that the city is going to try and recover as much as $315,000 from Mr. Howard for his property cleanup and attorney fees. KZGN-TV had reported an update earlier this week. Our report showed that the cleanup is in process, but has quite a bit to do yet. The court has ruled that the city can recover these fees from Mr. Howard. Of course, how he might pay for the fees is up for debate. Barring actual payment by Howard to the city could lien his properties for payment sometime in the future. So the saga continues. Next week, the City Council will hold a regular meeting on July 1st. Their agenda includes the following items. Under presentations, they'll get a community survey presentation by Becky Napier of Kern County Council of Governments, and then they'll get a presentation by the Lions Club of the annual Independence Day fireworks display. On the consent calendar, the Council will consider the following items. Adopting a resolution approving a contract change order number 27 with contractor Griffith Company for the West Ridgecrest Boulevard project. It will be authorizing the city manager to sign the notice of completion, authorizing the city clerk to file the notice of completion, and authorizing the city engineer, Lauren Culp, to sign progress payment number 11, the release of retention. After a recordation of the notice of completion, next they'll consider adopting a resolution approving and adopting a transit policy mandated by the Federal Transportation Administration for service criteria for complementary paratransit. Then they'll consider adopting a resolution to approve the professional service agreement with the firm of Wildan Engineering to provide construction management, geotechnical and inspection services for off-site public improvements for the Super Walmart construction project, and authorized the city manager to execute the agreement. The agreement will be contingent upon the city attorney's review and approval. Then they'll consider adopting a resolution approving the attached salary and schedules for employee classifications. During the discussion and other action items segment of the meeting, they'll consider adopting a resolution of the Ridgecrest City Council adopting the city's fee schedule and establishing by policies by which the budget may be and shall be amended in the coming fiscal year. Then the council will discuss a grand jury report and discuss of what the council response will be and forward it to the grand jury. Well, that's a quick summary of the items on next Wednesday's agenda. On Monday, I'll start providing the details of the most important items, so tune in next week for those details. Last Friday, Police Chief Ron Strand spoke at the Ridgecrest Republican Women's Federated Luncheon. He started by saying, while there have been many changes in the professional organization of police during its 30 years, officers continue to do their best at working to keep the community safe. Some changes, however, he faulted. Chief Strand directly linked the Prison Realignment Assembly Bill 109 to the 17% increase in crime and faulted Prop 47 as making matters even worse. Strand said Prop 47, given the tag name Safe Neighborhoods and Schools, misled voters to support the proposition. When read in length, Prop 47 changed laws and raised the bar concerning grand theft, possession of stolen property, shoplifting, and drug possession. Basically, what constitutes grand theft now must include possession of a handgun, stolen property must be more than $950, shoplifting is also anything over $950. Drug possession, including personal use drugs, PCP, heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and including date rape drugs, are all only misdemeanors now. Raising the misdemeanor bar has resulted in the release of 10,000 previously held county prisoners from jail. The problem with not accepting misdemeanors in jail, Chief Strand said, has resulted in a 43% increase in crime. Law enforcement and citizens working together as a community, Chief Strand said, is key to keeping the community safe. The department continues to work on public outreach to youth through the police department's youth officer program. He said there will be a focus on youth counseling in the Sierra Sands Unified School District and said both Mesquite and Burroughs High School will be hiring a counselor. Strand emphasized the importance of early intervention and community involvement. What the community can do, he said, is to care about safety. Engage with phone calls and to step forward if you witness a crime. We are an engaged community, he said. We feel the community support. The Ridgecrest Republican Women's Club welcomes new members, men or women. They invite anyone to join them for their next luncheon meeting. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's local gas prices. Well, I'm happy to report that since Wednesday, prices locally and abroad are steady or just slightly down. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.27 to $3.89. Lancaster's going from $3.29 to $3.69. The LA Valley area is $3.29 to $3.47, and the Bishop area $3.67 to $3.83. We have one station at the $3.27 figure and 4 stations coming in at the $3.29 figure. Tune in with us Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay any sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Stay with us for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, severe thunderstorms appear likely across parts of the lower Ohio Valley and into the central Appalachians. Large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes are possible. Strong to severe thunderstorm development is also possible across parts of Piedmont, the Carolinas, and Virginia, as well as parts of the Ozark Plateau and adjacent southern Great Plains. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas came in at 88 degrees. Florida is in the mid-80s. Arkansas, 88. Kansas, 74. Colorado, 68. Idaho, 75. Arizona, 91. And our west coast in Los Angeles, 62 degrees. For our local forecast here in the IWV, tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 76. South wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny and hot with a high near 109. South wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 80 degrees. South wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Sunday, partially sunny with a high near 106. South wind 5 miles per hour. And Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 78. South wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. The thunderstorms I mentioned yesterday will begin to roll in on Sunday night. On Monday, we'll have a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, but it'll be partially hot and sunny with a high near 107. West wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monday night, 30% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 79. West-southwest wind 10 miles per hour. The chance of thunderstorms and showers will continue through Tuesday and will diminish throughout the week. Hope everyone has a great weekend. See you all on Monday. Now back to Tom and the rest of your KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Now let's go to Tom Eck for sports.
And a very pleasant Friday afternoon to everybody. Start with a local sports note. Tonight over at Saracoso, the annual Summer High School Boys Basketball Tournament. The Burroughs High School Junior Varsity team will be here in action, along with Trona High School. There'll also be teams from Lone Pine and Bishop, from the Bakersfield area, and several teams from the Las Vegas area. It starts on Friday, and it goes all day Saturday, and you're welcome to come up and watch some good high school basketball. $3 for adults, $2 for kids. Pretty good deal for all day of hoops. All right, the Angels in action tonight. They'll open up a 3-game series against Seattle. They'll send Matt Shoemaker to the mound. Shoemaker 4-5 on the year, ERA of over 5. Tawan Walker will pitch for the Mariners. He has a record of 5-6. His ERA also over 5. Seattle probably the disappointment of the American League. They put a lot of money into their lineup, and Lloyd McClendon not getting a lot out of it offensively. All right, the Dodgers beat Chicago last night 4-0. They beat John Lester. Well, John Lester really hasn't had a great season either. He's kind of one of those guns for hire that every year he's on a new team now and gets millions and millions of dollars. I think if you figured it out by every pitch, it would almost come to about $120,000 a pitch, the way some of these guys are getting paid. All right, Houston wins. They beat the Yankees. The Astros have a 5-game lead over the Angels in the West. Washington blanks St. Louis. They've now won 6 games in a row. They're ready to play Philadelphia 3 games. That streak might even go up further. Colorado wins again. They beat Arizona. And the Giants win. They defeat San Diego. Boy, San Diego has been reeling ever since they let Bud Black go, their manager. That move didn't help at all. They're now 5 games under 500 are the Padres. All right, the Giants trail the Dodgers by 1 full game in the West. The Mets win finally the Mets won, I should say. They had a 7-game losing streak. Now they're back at 500. They're 37 up and 37 down for the year. Oakland wins again. Boy, the A's have won 8 of 9. All of a sudden, Bob Melvin and crew, only 7 games under. They were 18 games under at one point this season. They got off to a horrific start. Baltimore beats Boston. The Red Sox now 10 under. They've been a disappointment. And Chicago beats Detroit 8-7. Detroit now 1 game over 500. They did get Justin Verlander back. That'll help. A lot of parity this year in baseball. Really nobody out there just blazing the pack. The Cardinals probably the best record in baseball and the biggest lead. But other than that, it's very tight. All right, NBA draft. What did the Lakers do? They took the number 2 pick, D'Angelo Russell. Now, the Lakers could have gotten Jahlil Okafor from Duke, the big 7-footer, but they opted for the point guard, DeAndre Russell. Now, Russell's had some attitude problems, so we'll have to see how that works out. But he is one talented player and would do well with Kobe Bryant in the backcourt. Minnesota took Karl Towns, no surprise there, the big 7-footer from Kentucky, for their first pick. So that'll make Minnesota better. The Lakers should be better. And Minnesota should be better. Everybody should be better next year, getting some very good players. And still, we'll see what's going to happen with Kevin Love. That's going to be the big mystery coming up in the next few weeks. The Cleveland Cavaliers, he said he wanted to stay. Now Not so sure he wants to stay. But even if he re-signs, he's a free agent right now. If he does re-sign because the salary cap's gone up, just for re-signing, he'll get $2 million more to his multiple million-dollar contract. Well, that's your sports for this Friday. Have a good weekend. Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay with us for Ridgecrest Talk with host Tanya Pyle interviewing Bart Parker from the Randsburg Museum, an extremely interesting local history buff. You'll really enjoy this interview. Have a great weekend.